I did a quick video that when I was released from the hospital, there were no discharge instructions and no services set in place, and no medical equipment available. And I just wanted to go into more in depth on how that all played out. Welcome and thank you for tuning into this channel, Joy and Pain. If this is your first time here or you've been here before, welcome and thank you for coming. I hope the information here is useful to you, and I hope you find your way back again. And I will do one video on what it took for me to be able to be discharged from the hospital to my home, which was the ultimate goal, and was so glad that that happened, even if it was at the last minute, which kind of leaves why I had no services. The day of discharge, there were a lot of milestones that I still had not met. Getting up, not having my blood pressure bottom out, being able to make it to the bathroom on my own without falling, being able to have a bowel movement despite all the pain medication, being able to eat a healthy meal. There were all these milestones in place that I needed to meet in order to qualify to go home. And the fact that my body was in hypovolemic shock and it had completely shut down, it wasn't going to do anything for me. So on that last day, it was kind of a panic rush. And we were able to get me to meet several milestones very quickly, kind of between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., which is kind of the discharge time of day. And I finally had met the final milestone. And once that happened, it was bam, 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 let's get her out of here. Because if they didn't get me discharged to come home, they were going to have to send me to a rehabilitation center or a nursing home. And none of us wanted that. Now, each neurosurgeon, usually has kind of a standard operating procedure of how they handle not only their surgeries, but the post-care. And each neurosurgeon has their kind of instructions on what they want their patients to do when they are recovering from this procedure. And for the neurosurgeon that I have, he has a very aggressive recovery plan. He does not want his patients limiting themselves in any way. So no restrictions were placed for me upon my discharge. Because the discharge happened so fast, the case manager at the hospital who had my case wasn't able to set up the home medical equipment like the hospital bed, some other things that I needed. They just weren't able to get it done in time. So that hadn't even happened yet. They were still making calls. So that was another reason why nothing was set up for me. And when I came home, I was very exhausted, but I was also very, very happy just to be home. The next day, however, I still had not heard anything from anyone. I was moving around slowly using the walker. And what happened is I had made my way into the kitchen looking for something to eat, and my blood pressure started plummeting. Luckily, I had a chair in the kitchen that I had been using, so I was able to get on that to keep myself from passing out and falling out. But I didn't have my phone on me. My phone was back over in the other room. And I realized that I had no way to call for help. And that was a very, very scary moment. Luckily, as time passed, in about 10 minutes or so, I felt that my blood pressure had stabilized and that I would be able to get up and make my way to the phone without risking another episode. And I was able to do that. And I got to the phone and I called 911 immediately, and they came out and they were wonderful. none of us wanted me to go back to the hospital. So they stayed with me. They take my blood pressure. We did several situations in different sitting, standing types of situations. And it looked like I had kind of stabilized a bit. And so I decided not to go back to the hospital. And they were going to report my situation and my case, of course, to let the case manager know what was going on. So that evening I stayed in bed on the air mattress on the floor and was afraid to move. Luckily I didn't have to go to the bathroom. Anyway, so the very next day, 8 a.m. in the morning, I got a call from the durable medical equipment people, and they were on their way to deliver me a hospital bed. I believe 30 minutes after that, I got another call from Home Health Services, and it was like the floodgates opened. I had everybody. I had occupational therapy, I had physical therapy, I had a home health aide to help me get around, I had a nurse to take care of me and check on all of my vitals. So within the next 24 hours, I was completely covered and serviced. And I am so grateful that that happened as quickly as it did, and that I did not have to return back to the hospital. So that's what happened with that. I just wanted to give everyone a little more detail of how that kind of just came about. And I was able to get all the services I need, and the past several weeks, they have all been wonderful. And I've been able to manage my recovery here by myself in my own home with my pets and with their care. And I'm really grateful for that.